I went into 2022 thinking it was going to be broad, sunlit uplands. I've been having fun making the videos that I've been doing. Really been proud of the work that I've been doing the latter half of 2021 and into 2022. A lot of good things coming down the pipeline, working with a lot of great people. And some of those great people started sending me messages this morning and this afternoon about a situation with Mattel, which I didn't know anything about. And I said, what's going on? And there was multiple people. There were people on Patreon. There were people in my Facebook. All of them, good friends of mine. And they were all saying, have you heard about this situation with Mattel taking down people's YouTube channels? I hadn't. I wasn't surprised, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I looked into it, and the short version is that 2 Jurassic Park focused channels, one called Collect Jurassic and the other one called, pardon me if I get this wrong, but it's Andy's World of Dinos or something like Andy's Channel of Dinos, something like that. They're both Jurassic Park and dinosaur focused channels. They came into regular, normal, everyday consumer possession of toys from the upcoming Jurassic World movie, which I believe is called Dominion. And they got these through Toy Wiz, which is a long-standing online toy dealer, much in the same vein as Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store and Toy NK, Toink. They pre-ordered them, as we all have to do these days, where you pre-order things 18,000 years in advance in the hopes that they'll only be 6 months late. And they showed up months, I guess, before the film comes out. I don't know when the film's release date is. I have no idea. I haven't watched Jurassic Park films since Jurassic World 1. I didn't watch Fallen Kingdom or anything like that. And as you know, I've done videos about Jurassic World Legacy Collection toys from Target several times here on this channel. Well, these toys apparently were considered, even though they were like dinosaurs or something, they were considered spoilers, which this whole situation dovetails into so many things that I don't like about modern entertainment industry mentality, modern fan culture, everything like that. But I'll try and keep it all together here. These 2 channels did some reviews of these items or posted photographs in some cases, I guess, on Instagram. And they were like, hey, I got these toys from my pre-order and I want to talk about them. Totally natural response. It's a totally natural thing to do. And Mattel decided to throw the book at these channels, who are run by fans. They're run by toy collectors and Jurassic Park fans. And Mattel threw the YouTube and Instagram books at these guys and got their channels taken down. Now, since I've heard that Collect Jurassic has either only been struck, he's lost his Instagram account, but his YouTube channel is still up. I don't know if it just took one strike. I'm not really sure. The Andy guy, his channel is totally obliterated. Like YouTube deplatformed him through merciless, copyright strike stuff. And it's odd because these are products that consumers want to review. Obviously, if there was an embargo, the embargo didn't make it to Toy Wiz, or Toy Wiz ignored it. And rather than punish the retailer, Mattel and by extension Universal decided to, as always, punish the consumer. There is a mentality amongst toy collectors increasingly over the last few years that if you criticize a toy company, you're biting the hand that feeds you, which is twisted because in reality, we are the people that are feeding them by buying their products, promoting their products online, getting excited about them through organic social media marketing or viral marketing or whatever you want to call it. And there were many different ways they could have handled this with these two channels that had nothing to do with taking their channels down. I was asked by the people who contacted me this morning, could you do a video about this? And at first I was like, well, I don't really know much about it. And then I looked into it and I went over onto the Collect Jurassic page and I saw that people like Laura Legends had done video responses to this, trying to show support for these channels. And at first I thought, well, it seems like the situation has already been answered, and people are rallying around these channels, and that's great. But then I realized, well, there may be some other stuff that needs to be discussed. So I might as well just do a video real quick and throw in my 2 cents on this and show my support for Collect Jurassic and Andy. We've gotten into a habit as a toy collecting fandom and a toy collecting community, both at the social media level and at just the boots on the ground collector level. And I've been fighting against this for years. And when I say fighting against, I mean fighting against people who have this mentality, who represent an overwhelming number of the people in our community. They believe that these companies are our friends. And they believe that we should treat them like friends. And that means don't be harsh on them. Don't criticize them. Don't even question their decisions or their motives. That's not what a friend does. But what I've been trying to tell people for years now, corporations are not your friend. They don't care that you're promoting their products. They will make you believe that they're feeding you when in actuality, you're feeding them. Because if all of us tomorrow stopped buying Jurassic Park or Marvel or Star Wars everything, they would fold. In the case of a licensee like, Hasbro and Mattel, they might not fold, but they would lose a significant market share of their quarterly earnings. Whatever you want to call it, they would lose a huge pie slice of their portfolio. It's as simple as that. And Mattel could have handled this so much better than just going out there and cutting these channels' throats. But that's not the way corporations do business. They don't care about you. They are not your friend. I know they make it seem like that when they do these live streams like Hasbro Pulse Fan Friday and Hasbro Pulse Reveal Wednesday. And I'm sure Mattel does stuff like this all the time. I don't know what it is. I don't watch any of this crap. All of those people who are sitting on the other side of those cameras, pimping the wares of the company they work for, not only are they not your friends, those companies are not their friends. If any of those ladies and gentlemen up there who represent Hasbro or Mattel, who are the liaison with the fans, if any of them are under the illusion that they are in good with the corporation they work for, I've got bad news for them. And I'm not blaming them for what happened, but what I'm saying is there is an endless cycle of predatory churn that goes into the consumer-company relationship. And that includes the employees that they've designated as the face to relate to you, the customer. But when the chips are down, they're not going to think humanely. They're not going to be sensitive. They're not going to be politically correct. They are only those things when conditions are perfect. And when they're not perfect, they will eat you. It's happening right now. That's what I'm trying to get across to everybody one more time. It is not wrong to criticize these companies. It should not be considered blasphemous to criticize a company's products, question a company's motives. None of those things. I'm not saying, nor am I advocating for, nor condoning lies and conspiracy and all that stuff. I'm talking about asking questions and looking at what you can observe. We as a toy community have got to get to a point in the majority where we stop treating these companies like they're our friends. Because they're not treating us like friends. And the saddest part is that I don't know what the situation is with Collect Jurassic or Andy's World of Dinos. I apologize if that's not the exact name. I understand they might be smaller channels. That's immaterial. One or both of those channels might actually be that person's attempt at a livelihood because of the way things are going right now in the world. Does that company care that there was some sort of mistake made at the product distribution level? Did they not go and ask their retailer first where the kerfuffle was before they just sledgehammered this fan of their work? No, they didn't. From everything I've researched today, they didn't. I'm not surprised they didn't. We've got to get to a point where we stop acting like we're chummy with these companies because they're going to eat us at every opportunity. They do it in a predatory way, as a matter of course, with just their product lines and the distribution issues and the price hikes and everything else, the exclusives and all that stuff. We're already dealing with that, but they see us as chaff from the wheat, and they don't care that we're the people who buy and through social media promote their stuff. And I don't mean just the YouTubers. I mean all the fans. And that's the other thing too. Just because you don't run a YouTube channel right now, if you're watching me and think this doesn't apply to me, it does apply to you. Because Instagram was also involved in this. Instagram took down Collect Jurassic's Instagram arm. That's just pictures. At what point are we as a community going to say, hey, you know what? We should be supporting our people in the toy aisle first. That's why when I do videos about modern products, people like to joke with me, and they do it in a good-natured way. They like to joke, Michael, you're always late with these these new figures and stuff. You're always late. And for the most part, it's because I like to collect up in a group. Like I like to get a whole wave, or I like to get, a big group so I can say something. But it also has the advantage of avoiding these kinds of weird, draconian corporate issues where something slips through, and again, they're not going to punish the retailer that sells the stuff, because that's the person getting it to all of us and helping us, part with our money. If that retailer screws up because that marketing guy screwed up, because that embargo guy at the studio didn't pass down the right information, they're going to step on the person at the bottom of the chain. And it's us. I hope that some of you who are aware of this situation will show your support for Collect Jurassic and Andy's World of Dinos. And again, I apologize if I don't have that exact name correct. We need to be supporting our brethren. We need to be supporting our people, the ones plunking down the money for this stuff. And if you're one of those channels that is real chummy with Mattel and Hasbro, and you know who you are and we know who you are, I hope to God you are considering saying or doing something about this situation, because It is not okay for companies, regardless of the scenario, it is not okay for companies to use the nuclear option on consumers who are fans of their stuff that they otherwise don't know. I know that to them they're probably just, widgets. They're probably just human fuel, just human firewood. But that's not the case, and we all know it. Corporations like Mattel, and I'm talking to you right now. If you're not going to let people talk about the products that you make, even in a situation like this where you could have handled it so much better and just sent out a letter saying, hey, can you pull that video down and withhold it until X date? How hard would that have been? These guys sound like big enough fans of your company that they would have done that in a heartbeat. These guys sound like, no, and I say this in the best possible light. I don't mean this in the derogatory way I sometimes use it. These guys sound like fanboys for Jurassic Park. They would have been happy to comply with your request. They would have been happy to have felt like they were helping, assisting. They would have happy to have felt like an ally and a chum, a friend to your company. But you didn't do that. You didn't exercise that option. You guys just hit the nuclear button. How are we as consumers with a decreasing, economic situation out there and more people trying to find a side hustle on social media, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or all that stuff? How's that going to work for you corporations when it's like, we don't want you talking about our stuff. We don't want you showing our stuff. We don't want you doing anything with our stuff except buy it. So we're going to destroy all the social media channels in the process because this sets a precedent. I know there's a wingnut at Warner Brothers that does this stuff. There's a guy at Warner Brothers that copyright strikes everybody under the sun and claims everything. He's even been known to claim things that weren't Warner Brothers, just to squelch any and all momentum for fans and the pop culture enthusiast community to talk about any of this stuff. And the funny part is, with the Warner Brothers guy, the stuff is old. Like, it's like 30, 40 years old. And he's on that hot button, just like, yeah, claim, 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 strike, 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 claim, claim. You got to give people an opportunity to make a living, run a side hustle, especially in today's day and time, Mattel. You also got to build relationships with customers that aren't flimsy, that aren't, Fugazi, as Matthew McConaughey said in The Wolf of Wall Street. I know that you're not genuine in your outreach, just like Hasbro isn't with their fans. You guys aren't our friends, and I know that. And you never will be. But you got to pretend better. You got to try harder. Lewis Black said it in a stand-up like 20 years ago. He was like, he said something to the effect of, you're not even trying to lie to me at this point. And if you've gotten to the point where you as a company think that you can just kick people around in the dirt in broad daylight in front of 100 people, then you've truly lost your way as a corporation. You have truly lost your way. Corporations, you guys are always dysfunctional. By your nature, you're dysfunctional. But now just brazenly doing it out in public with a let them eat cake attitude, you guys better dial that back fast. Because right now you're on the wrong side of this. I don't care what your rationale is, Mattel. You're on the wrong side of this. You guys need to work with Instagram and YouTube to reinstate these channels. You need to go to YouTube and say, hey, sorry, our bad. We're wrong about this. We'll reach out to them in a civilized and normal way and not like a freaking robot. And you need to say, hey, we handled that wrong. Sorry about that. Can we please agree on a date for this stuff to go out? And then let us know how this all went down with Toy Wiz. Use your customers to find out what the real problem is. Don't pass the buck down to them and then stomp them into the ground. collect Jurassic. Andy, RetroBlasting has your back. We support you. Very sorry that this occurred. I didn't have anything to do with it, obviously, but, you know, I would hate to see that happen to some of my other friends on YouTube and compatriots and things like that. So, you know, I hope this situation works out in your favor, because I know you guys are willing to work with Mattel and Universal. This isn't something where, you know, anybody is sitting there saying that those videos or photos should stay up. We're just saying that these companies could have handled it better, much better. So just know that, you know, RetroBlasting is aware, and we side with you guys, and we hope this situation comes to a agreeable conclusion for the YouTubers, where you guys, as toy collectors, have the win. The PR win. The optics win. Because right now, the optics are on your side on this. All right, everyone. I'm going to get back to my fun 2022 and working on some new videos. I've got some scripts written, so I'm going to go get back to that. But I will be interested to see how all this plays out, and I'm so grateful to the toy collecting community for keeping me informed on some of this stuff when it unfolds. So, all right, everyone. I'll see you on the next video.